Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to one of the last videos that I will be filming in this space right here because we are preparing to move. We should be moved. We are moving on Monday, March 2nd. Today I'm filming and it is Wednesday, February 25th or 6th, I think. I could be wrong on my dates, but this is going to be the last day I believe that I film in this home, and I figured it would be a great day to film my Pan Those Eyeshadows update. This will be update number 2, I believe, to my 2020 project. This project was started by Lexi a couple of years ago and it really picked up last year. So many people are doing this project. If you just search hashtag Pan Those Eyeshadows, you will find tons of videos like this to binge watch. So I highly recommend both checking out Alexi's channel and then just searching that hashtag if you are interested in more videos like this. Essentially, I randomly generate eyeshadows throughout my entire palette collection to work on panning, and I'm really excited to share some exciting progress from this last update with you guys. So if you are interested, then stay tuned. First, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I do hope you'll consider subscribing before you go. But other than that, let's just get into the video. It is surprisingly sunny today, so I feel like I might be like a little bit washed out, looking like a little bit pale. I thought I went super heavy with my bronzer today and I feel like I don't look very bronzed. But anyway, so I changed up the way that I was doing this project just a little bit, tweaked it just a little bit from last year. So typically I've seen people randomly select 5 eyeshadows to work on. I have randomly selected 5 eyeshadows and then for myself just chosen by my own opinions and choice one other eyeshadow throughout my collection to work on panning. Typically I've been choosing like a matte brown shade because those are very easy for me to wear to work, and I just want to ensure that I'm making good progress on shades or like continuing to feel motivated by this project in case I get a bunch of really tough shades. And then my other stipulations are, if it takes me longer than 3 months to hit pan on an eyeshadow, I do have the opportunity to roll that out as long as it's been in the project for 3 months and I have made a valiant effort to use it, meaning I have used it a minimum of 15 times. So that being said, I do have some exciting progress to share with you guys. I did hit 3 pans this last month, which is super exciting. I also hit 3 pans in January. Currently I have 1,078 eyeshadows in my collection, which I know sounds like a ton, but I personally love eyeshadow. I love eyeshadow palettes. Eyeshadow is one of my favorite steps in my makeup routine, so I just can't help myself when it comes to eyeshadow. This year I have been tracking my like pan percentage throughout my collection. So my pan percentage in the month of January was about 2.5 and it did go up to 2.78 in the month of February, which is really exciting. And then I also tracked how many eyeshadow palettes I brought into my collection in the month of February. I only purchased 1 eyeshadow palette in the month of February. I did end up purchasing the ABH Amrezy collaboration, which does have 16 eyeshadows in it, and I did spend, it was either $45 or $49 on that. And then again, I hit pan on 3 shades in the month of February. I just thought it might be fun to collect that data as well. I'm like a data nerd, so I like to just track things like that, but you guys are probably more here for the pans and what I've hit pan on. So we'll just jump right into the exciting progress, starting with my Dose of Colors Baked Brown eyeshadow palette. So this is the one that I selected for myself to work on, and the shade that I was mainly focused on was this shade right here, which is in the shade Deserted. And as you can see, I do have pan going on this. Now what I will say about the Dose of Colors eyeshadow formula is there is a lot of kick up, but you can kind of, if you strategically do your makeup, you can like reuse your kick up. You don't have to like keep blowing it away and then keep dipping in. I hope that makes sense. You can sort of like dip back in and reuse your kick up. And then while I was in this palette, I was just using the shade Tea Light as an all over lid setting shade. And I hope you'll be able to see that I do have pan going there as well. So I did hit 2 pans in this palette, which is super exciting. This is one of my favorite just easy neutral travel like on the go palettes, and I got a ton of use out of this past month. I believe I have everything tracked. I used this palette a a total of 23 times in the month of February, which is a ton. I pretty much reached into this every single time that I did my makeup, and it shows because I do have 2 pans in this palette, so very, very exciting, but I am ready to put this away for the time being. And then the other pan that I hit comes from my Violet Voss Essentials palette. I was working on the shade Cream right here, which the name can be deceiving because this is actually a very shimmery, icy sort of like inner corner highlight shade, which is exactly what I used it for. So I had used this 10 times in the month of January, and then I used it an additional 17 times in the month of February in order to hit pan. I hope you can see the pan right there, but I do have some good pan going on it, and I'm really ready to retire this guy as well. I feel like I got a ton of use out of this, and oh no. Okay, for the most part, we're good. We have a little bit of a dent in Plumberry after that fall, but other than that, we're still intact. I am ready to put this palette away for the time being. I mean, it's an okay palette, but I'm ready to be done with it. So then the next palette that I worked the hardest on, but feel like I have like little to no progress to share, is from the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. I was working on the shade Charmed, I'm Sure, which is this shade right here. And I'll go like this so hopefully you guys can kind of see. There is like a slight dip to this. I ended up using this a total of 13 times. It is a darker brown shade. And it works to deepen up the crease, but sometimes when I am looking for like a wear to work look, I'm not looking for something this deep because it quickly can go from like a soft everyday look to like a super blown out smoky eye. That happened to me a couple of times. I also have like a colic right here in my hair, so if I'm wearing my hair in a ponytail, I had been using this to like touch in my hairline and make my hairline look more full. I used it that way to get some more use out of this, but this is going to be a long time going. I have a feeling I'm still going to be really aggressive with my usage on this the next month, but I still feel like we won't hit pan. I do have one other pan in this palette, which was the like all over lid setting shade, and it took me forever to hit pan on this just because Too Faced shadows typically tend to be pretty firmly pressed and deeper pans. So, yeah. This one I'm sure will be in at least another month or 2. I also worked really hard on my Pat McGrath palette. I forget the name of this and I don't have the like little insert with me, but I was working on this gold shimmery shade right here, and I hope you'll be able to see that there is a good dip going, but I still feel like I'm nowhere near the end of the pan. So in the month of January, I had used this a total of 6 times, and then in the month of February, I used this an additional 13 times. So I'm up to 19 uses on this, but still no pan, and we haven't been in the project for 3 months, so I can't roll this guy out yet. This one is pretty easy to use, especially when I'm trying to do just like a very neutral everyday look. I can toss this all over the lid as like a nice light sort of sparkly shimmery gold, and it works really well for that, but you also don't need a ton of product for that. So that's where we're at with this one. I still feel like next update, I don't feel like I'm gonna have pan. I just feel like the pans on this are very deep and you need such little progress or such little product. The progress is just very slow going on this, so that is a bummer, but I did make a valiant effort to get a ton of use out of that one. And then the final 2 palettes that I have been struggling with. So first, let's talk about the Huda Gemstone Obsessions. I used this once in the month of January. I'm currently working on this vibrant purple shade right here, and when I say vibrant purple, I mean very vibrant purple. I did not use this at all in the month of February. I don't know, I just wasn't doing the look that I felt like constituted using this color. I feel like today I do have a very like pink purple look. Maybe I could have tried to smoke this out on the lower lash line, but I just didn't do that. I'm hoping I'm feeling a little bit more inspired by this in the month of March, because as of right now I have only used the shade 1 time. Yikes. So that is my progress on that. And then my ColourPop Baby Got Peach palette. I did not use this at all in January, and I only reached for this 1 time in February. So the color that I selected was the shade Get Even, which is this really, really beautiful, shifty, like corally gold shade. I don't know how well you're gonna be able to see it with the sun glare. This I paired with my Sassy Sienna's palette from Dose of Colors, and I really like the way that those two paired together, but it does give a very vibrant, smoky look. So I did wear it to work, and people were like, dang Steph, your makeup is popping today, which is fine. Like, I am really excited to play around with this more in the springtime. I just feel like I wasn't as inspired by this color story in like the dead months of winter here, but I am really excited to get some more use out of this. I see myself using this a bunch more in March and then probably April as well, because I don't know that I'll get to those 15 uses next month. Maybe, we'll see. I am going to try and make more of an effort to use this guy because it still is a very wearable palette, but I did not make great progress on this past month, unfortunately. Okay, so because I did hit pan on the shade that I selected for myself, I'm obviously going to select a new shade for myself, and then I did hit pan on that Violet Voss Essentials shade, so we will be randomly generating a new shade for me also to be working on. So I'm quickly going to grab my phone for the random number generator app, and we will see the shade that I get to focus on. Okay, so I have my Pretty Random app, and we have a number 1 through 1078, and we are going to randomize and get number 737. Okay, so number 737 comes from my Nuda Hued oh man. Number 737 comes from my Huda Beauty Nude Medium palette, and it is the first shade in that palette. So I'm quickly going to go grab that palette, and I will be right back to share the shade with you. Okay, so here is my Huda Nude palette, and shade number 1 is this one right here, which is what looks to be a very easy matte to work with. And then for reference, here are the other 4 shades currently going. So I feel like this one actually is going to go really well with the matte from the Sweet Peach palette. This looks like a very easy wear to work shade. So now that I have kind of an idea of what my quintet looks like, I'm quickly going to go grab a shade of my choice to work on panning over the next month. Okay, the shade that I have selected is going to be out of my ABH Mario palette. This is one of the older palettes in my collection, and I wanted to choose a shimmer that I felt like would go well with the mattes that I selected. So I'm going to go with the shade Marlena, I think, Marina, which is this one right here, and then swatched, here it is right here. I feel like this is going to go beautifully with the nude matte from the Huda Obsessions palette, as well as the matte from the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. Now I do feel like the mattes are going to take me a little bit of time to hit pan on. I feel like I'm a little bit nervous we're not going to hit pan on anything, except for I feel confident I can hit pan on this one from the ABH Mario palette, but other than that, I'm feeling like a little bit weary of which pans we're going to hit. But this is the color story, the palette that I will be working on throughout the next month. I'm already excited to share my end of March update with you guys. If you are doing this project, leave me a comment down below. Let me know how I can find you, whether it be Instagram, YouTube, whatever it may be. Let me know how your Pan Those Eyeshadows project is going. I would love to hear from you guys. Other than that, thank you so much for sticking around to watch today's video, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye.